Well. If it had not been shown on the news, if it had not been shown on the news, I mean, even though you still have stories about organized stalking and harassment being exposed and how the news media have covered certain occurrences of this in the past, this one right here took the cake for me. So when you become a targeted individual, one thing that you'll notice aside from the ground harassment from people following you around, showing up at every place that you go to, coming out the house same time as you do, same time exit and entry and all this. TIs know what I'm talking about. You also have the aerial stalking as well. So I just happened to come across this video. Uh, well, it was actually a news story about an individual that was flying one of those private airplanes and was actually stalking this woman for years. And they finally, I guess, caught the guy and arrested him. So I just wanted to share this story with you guys. So for those of you that think targeted individuals are crazy for thinking that there are aircraft out there that follow us around, that buzz, they call it buzzing our home. Excuse me. They call it buzzing our homes. They'll have the aircrafts fly over the house real low. Not just airplanes, they will use drones. I have personally experienced all of these things: the airplanes, private airplanes, drones, Black Hawk helicopters flying extra low, or just kind of like hanging around your residence for like a 5, 10, sometimes I've experienced it up to 12 to 15 minutes of just constant circling. Okay. So you can't say that people are making this shit up and people are delusional when you finally have a news story of an individual who got arrested. So this is the guy that got arrested for stalking this lady. He was using this aircraft or an aircraft like this. I guess that's the one he was using right there that's illustrated. Um Pilot, and he was 65 years old, accused of using plane to stalk woman for 4 years. Okay? So this shit is real. When targeted individuals complain about aircrafts flying low over their house, it don't matter what time of day or night. I've experienced it at night, in the morning, in the afternoon. And these people are relentless with the stuff that they do. So I'm glad that they finally put a news story out about this type of stuff happening. Okay, and this is recent. This was just uploaded like 20 hours ago. Okay, so this recently happened. A 65-year-old pilot is being accused of stalking. New York restaurant owner Cassandra uh, Willis says she's been tormented by the pilot for 4 years. The pilot, Michael Arnold, claims he was just taking photos from high above to post on social media. However, Willis says that's nonsense and she's the target. When he was arrested, police say they found photos of Willis on his cell phone. Arnold was charged with aggravated stalking. He has pled not guilty to all charges. Okay. So when targeted individuals talk about these fucking weirdos that do this shit, okay? It's not a joke, it's not a figment of our imagination, it's not a delusion of our mind. We're not schizophrenic. This shit is really happening. Cuz see what happens is when the targeted individual tries to explain what's happening to them, say it's to like a neighbor, a friend or family member, it can seem kind of crazy because it makes them wonder, well, why you? Why are they doing this to you? Why are all these people doing this to you? But like I said, when this stuff happens, it's an organized event against one person to make that person look crazy. So you're going to have people that are not going to talk about what they're doing to you, of course. They're going to try to keep it as covert as possible because the whole point of it is to drive the target crazy, to make them look like they're insane so they can get put in a mental facility or push them to the point of aggravation to where they'll commit a crime and end up in jail or end up in prison, or push the target to the point of suicide. So I'm glad that this news story was put out so people can see. And my channel, for the most part, is dedicated to exposing organized stalking and harassment because it is a real phenomenon that is occurring, not just here in the U.S., but all across the world. Okay, by people like this narcissistic piece of shit scum asshole. What is your 65-year-old ass doing flying around in an airplane harassing someone? This dude looked like he should be retired somewhere, sitting on an island enjoying his life. But what is he doing? And he's a restaurant owner and a business owner, and he's bothering this woman. That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. For the life of me, that doesn't make any sense. There's so much other stuff to do in this world. There's so much beauty and so much nature to enjoy. But this dude spent his time flying a fucking airplane over this lady's house, okay? Over this woman's house, just constantly
Well, it basically
harassing this poor lady. And I'm going to play the whole video in just a second. But I just wanted to take the time out to talk about this because you have people that will say that we're crazy. Why would somebody fly an airplane over your house, and just target your house and all this kind of stuff, okay? But we clearly have a news story where this individual was caught. This just so happened to be one person that's gotten caught doing this shit, okay? So the same measure that they used to catch this motherfucker is the same measure they need to use to catch all the other people that are doing this to other targeted individuals, okay? So obviously they have the means to catch these people. I don't know what it was that was special about her situation to where, maybe she's not a targeted individual. Maybe this is just an incident to where this guy he's the only one kind of targeting her, basically. This may not be a situation to where she's an actual TI. I don't know her background. I haven't really investigated and looked into much into her story. But it just, when I saw the title of this, 65-year-old pilot charged for allegedly stalking woman, it's not far-fetched to say that this stuff happens to people, a lot of other people as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play the news story. It's not that long. 1 second. Yeah, it's about 2 minutes. We'll play it.
A single-engine plane buzzes a house. The pilot is an alleged stalker from the air.
Yep, that's him.
And this is the woman he's accused of stalking.
He flew so low, it basically shook my house.
Restaurant owner Cassandra Willis says she's been tormented by the pilot for 4 years.
You would hear it. It sounded like he was coming through the roof. So he typically does 3 to 5 circles directly over my home.
He even allegedly bombed her house with small red objects. He even dropped tomatoes on your house?
He dropped them on my 4Runner, and it was like...
And see, I swear that there have been instances to where I have experienced those flyovers, okay, over my head, and after a little bit of time after the flyover is done, there's this hint of like urine or something, like this stinky kind of like urine-y smell. So I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if these people are dumping urine out the plane or something just nasty over the target's head. Because you can clearly hear what she just said, that this dude would sometimes bomb her house with some type of something. Let me go back a little bit.
Bombed her house with small red objects. He even dropped tomatoes on your house?
He dropped them on my 4Runner, and it was like craters all within our yard.
The pilot, 65-year-old Michael Arnold, claims he was just taking photos from high above to post on social media.
And see, this is a psychopath right here. You can look at his face. Some people just have that look of just being a psychopath, okay? This dude is fucking crazy. He needs to be locked up in prison for the rest of his fucking life for doing this shit. He really does. His old ass don't have no business sitting up there doing something like that to this woman. All right? No business doing that kind of shit. He should have his pilot's license taken away. He should never be allowed to fly. He should have his planes taken away and all that shit.
But Willis says that's nonsense. She's the target.
I knew that it was specifically targeted at me because at that time, he was already sending me aerial photos of my house, of my property, of my car.
The entire town of Schuylerville, New York is up in arms. The mayor shot this video.
I've gotten text messages and I've gotten calls from residents, and they just feel scared. The mental state of this guy is in question. No one knows whether...
Okay, so this dude was terrorizing the whole damn neighborhood, it sounds like, okay? So this situation, I'm not going to say that this woman is a targeted individual, But just looking at this story, this is the type of shit that these psychopaths do to people that are targeted individuals. So that's the main reason why I wanted to share this. Okay. In this particular situation, it wasn't just her that noticed it. Also, the her neighbors in the neighborhood noticed the shit as well from the sounds of it. Okay. So I just think that's very interesting. So it seems like, you know, she wasn't the only one calling in and complaining about it. Whereas with the targeted individual, if you were to call in to complain about this type of thing, they're not going to take you seriously. And sometimes I always wonder myself, I'm like, geez, they're doing these flyovers over my residence. They're doing these, using these Black Hawk military style helicopters flying over my residence. Aren't there other neighbors complaining about this? No. You know why they're not complaining about it? Because they're in on it. They're not going to complain about it. The whole point is to direct that um, that activity towards the target. Now they probably will give the neighbors some sort of incentive to keep quiet about it, to kind of endure it, so that it can get, so that the activity that the perps are doing can get to the actual target and bother that target. Because I would wonder about certain noise campaigns. I'm like, you're trying to sleep at night and car alarms are fucking going off every fucking night, and no one's complaining about it. Could it be that they were paid to not complain about it because they were trying to target a certain person? Let me finish playing this.
Now he's going to crash into their home.
Arnold has been charged with aggravated stalking. He says he doesn't even know Cassandra. But when he was arrested, police say they found photos of her on his cell phone. That's got to be terrifying.
You see how these motherfuckers will lie? They're like, I've never met this person before in my life, or I don't know who that is. That's a lie. Okay? These people are well aware of who we are, okay? And I wouldn't be surprised if these people have code names for us so as to further conceal their criminal activity. So if you have a certain target that's in a neighborhood, they're not going to refer to you as your name. They're probably going to pick some cartoon character or some type of code name they're going to use for you, just so it'll be harder for them to catch or to find out that the community is actually targeting you, right? So let me finish playing this.
Yeah, terrifying would sum up.
Was arrested. He says he doesn't even know Cassandra. But when he was arrested, police say they found photos of her on his cell phone. That's got to be terrifying.
Yeah, terrifying would sum up, and then some of what it is to know that you're being stalked pretty much every day.
From the air, no less.
Michael Arnold has been ordered to stay 300 feet away from Ms. Willis. He's also been banned from piloting any airplane. He's pled not guilty to all the charges.
Okay. So
We live in a world.
this is the type of shit that happens with people that are going through organized stalking and harassment. So it's not something that's just um exclusive to the ground. These people will do this shit in the air, okay? Um Apart from just doing it on the ground or on the roads, they do it in the air. Wherever your location is, it does not matter. I can remember a specific time. This was in Houston, Texas, when I was like the beginning stages of my harassment, and I was trying to find a way to get the hell away from these people. What ended up happening was I went to a very secluded area. I didn't take actually got a new pair of clothes. I didn't take my wallet, didn't take my cell phone, did not take any type of electronic devices. I didn't even use my own vehicle. And I went out into the middle of nowhere for a couple of days just to kind of sit and observe to see if there would be anyone that shows up. So the first day, everything was clear, everything was fine, no issues. I would say going into the second day, I noticed a drone that was in the sky going on about its business, and then it stops over my head and flashes a bright light at my location. It was stationary in the air and was flashing a bright light at me to let me know that they knew there's no running. They know where you are at all times. So that's the message that they were trying to, convey to me at that time. So, like I said, this stuff is not just restricted to ground troops and people walking around doing this on the streets, they also do this in the sky as well. All right. So, what else do I want to say about this? So, yeah, I just wanted to share this story. Again, this is something that happened recently. This is something that was just from like years ago because a lot of people put videos up about news reports of this type of stalking and harassment activity. And what you'll find is that they're old news reports. It's like nothing recent. So I'm glad I came across this because this is something that's just more recent. It was just uploaded, about 20 hours ago on the 10th of October of this year. It's now October 11th, but yeah. So can't say that people are crazy that complain about this stuff because they're starting to talk about this stuff on the news a lot. So all right, I'm not gonna make this too long. It's a short one. Leave comments. Let me know what you think.